The 10 most terrifying forbidden zones for humans in the world. No matter how rich you are, do not go near them. Here, you could be dead in under an hour. You might be instantly killed by a volley of arrows, or poisoned within minutes. You could even face a bizarre accidental death. The mystery of some of these forbidden zones is beyond your wildest imagination. The shadow of war, traces of aliens, UFO sightings, the threat of nuclear explosions, strange disappearances, and mysterious caves. These are all places you definitely want to stay away from. Hello everyone. Today, we will explore 10 terrifying forbidden zones for humans. The last one is absolutely spine-chilling. You must never go there. Number 10. North Sentinel Island. North Sentinel Island, also known as North Sentinel, is located in the Andaman Islands in the Bay of Bengal. It is an isolated place surrounded by coral reefs. Currently, Indian law explicitly states that any travel to the island is strictly prohibited. People are not even allowed to come near the island or any area within a 9-kilometer radius. This is because the island is inhabited by an indigenous tribe called the Sentinelese. The Sentinelese people have dark skin, are small in stature, and some of them are even completely unclothed. They have lived here for over 60,000 years and fiercely reject contact with the outside world. It is rumored that they are the world's only uncontacted tribe, still living in a Stone Age civilization. They are considered one of the last groups on Earth to reject contact with modern civilization. The key point is, these indigenous people, as soon as they see any outsider step onto this island, will launch a volley of arrows at them. There's simply no escape, because their bows are not only long, but also have an extremely long range. In 1867, the crew of a merchant ship, due to bad weather, sought refuge on the island, but as soon as they landed, they were shot at by the natives. To save their lives, the crew fought back against these primitive people. But they were no match for the natives, and were quickly subdued. In 2004, the Indian government dispatched a helicopter to observe the primitive tribe on North Sentinel Island. As it passed over, a tribesman shot an arrow at the helicopter. On November 15, 2018, an American missionary named John Allen Show prepared to go to North Sentinel Island to preach Christianity to these indigenous people. He paid fishermen to take him near the island and then paddled to shore in a canoe by himself. In the end, not only did he fail to complete his mission, but he also lost his life, killed by a volley of arrows on the beach. The 7 fishermen who helped him were also arrested. Their fate unknown. You could say, North Sentinel Island is a death trap for humans. In the past 60,000 years, no one who has gone to the island has ever returned alive. The Indian Navy patrols the area to ensure that no foolish explorers venture to this dangerous place. Number 9. Ilha de Queimada Grande Snake Island. Ilha de Queimada Grande, also known as Brazil's Snake Island, is about 35 kilometers off the southern coast of São Paulo State, Brazil. In 1984, the Brazilian government established it as a nature reserve and issued a ban prohibiting anyone from landing on the island. The reason is, anyone who steps foot on this island probably won't survive for even an hour. This island, just as its name suggests, is crawling with snakes. According to incomplete statistics, there are about 430,000 venomous snakes on this small island. That's almost one venomous snake per square meter. And the island is home to one of the world's deadliest snakes, the golden lancehead viper. There are about 5,000 of them here. The golden lancehead has a golden yellow skin, a sharp head, and keen eyes. It's less than a meter long, making it the smallest species of lancehead. However, its venom is 5 times more potent than that of its mainland relatives, 5 times stronger. Its venom can directly corrode flesh and melt muscle. A person bitten will not only have their skin and muscle dissolve, but may also rapidly suffer from cerebral hemorrhage, intestinal bleeding, and kidney failure. Without antivenom, death can occur within 40 minutes. Although Ilha de Queimada Grande is now an uninhabited island, the lighthouse built there in 1909 shows that people once lived here. However, according to legend, the family of 5 who once tended the lighthouse fell victim to the deadly golden lanceheads. Additionally, a plantation owner once tried to establish a banana plantation on the island. He hired workers to go to the island and burn the rainforest. However, in the end, all the humans who landed were driven off by the snakes. At first, people didn't realize the danger of Snake Island. It wasn't until more and more people died on the island that the Brazilian government officially recognized its horror and immediately issued a landing ban. Currently, only the Brazilian Navy occasionally lands on the island to maintain the island's only lighthouse. Number 8. Poveglia Island. Poveglia Island, located in the Venetian Lagoon in northern Italy, is known as the Cursed Island. Local fishermen steer clear of it, because here, what they might haul up in their nets isn't fish, but human bones. Historically, Poveglia Island was a quarantine station for plague victims, especially during the rampage of the Black Death in the 14th century. About 25 million people in Europe died from the plague, which was 1/3 of the total population at the time. A huge number of plague patients were sent to Poveglia Island. Their bodies were buried in deep pits, and the ashes from their cremation covered the entire island. It's estimated that the number of people burned on the island exceeds 160,000. More than half of the island's soil is composed of human remains. Then, in 1922, a mental hospital was built on this island. According to rumor, a doctor on the island conducted cruel experiments on patients, trying to find a cure for the plague. However, these experiments led to even more deaths. Because so many people died, the island became rife with ghost stories. Some have heard the cries of babies on this island, as well as the screams of parents. These sounds are the anguished cries of those who were taken to be used as test subjects. At night, you can even see ghosts walking across the island. Today, the buildings and facilities on the island are all abandoned, but the local people are terrified of going to Poveglia Island. Poveglia Island has thus become an island of death that no one dares to visit. Number 7. America's Area 51. Area 51, located near Groom Lake in Nevada, US of A. According to declassified files from George Washington University, the true identity of Area 51 was America's most top-secret military base during the Cold War. However, in the eyes of the world, this place has always been a mysterious forbidden zone. This restricted area holds many secrets. Conspiracy theorists believe this area contains extraterrestrial life and may even house aliens. In 1989, a former US 51 engineer named Bob Lazar claimed, "I'm known for known as S4 out on the Nevada desert near Area 51. And there, we reverse-engineered alien spacecraft." Area 51 secretly researched UFOs, captured multiple alien spacecraft, and even witnessed aliens landing firsthand. He described the aliens as having large skulls and protruding eyes. They were small and slender, with indistinct facial features. Almost no one dared to look at them directly. It was chilling. In Area 51, they were called the Kids. For a long time, the existence of Area 51 was not officially acknowledged by the US government. It couldn't even be found on maps. Therefore, Area 51 has always been seen as a mysterious entity involved in numerous conspiracy theories and rumors. However, some experts believe this might have been deliberately designed by the US government as a smokescreen. In reality, Area 51 during the Cold War was a secret base, a facility for the US to develop high-end weaponry. The US deliberately linked Area 51 with extraterrestrial beings, repeatedly hinting that this technology could not be shared. During the Cold War, this tactic served as a powerful technological deterrent against the former Soviet Union. At the same time, the US needed to use aliens as a cover, diverting public curiosity towards space creatures to avoid speculation and questions about its advanced weapons development. In fact, not only was the U-2 high-altitude reconnaissance plane born here, but a large number of subsequent advanced American stealth fighters and bombers also originated from this place. In short, Area 51 has a highly classified security level. Ordinary people simply cannot enter. It is a true mysterious forbidden zone for humans. Number 6. Russia's Valley of Death. In the mountains of Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula, there is a valley 2 kilometers long and 100 to 300 meters wide known as the Valley of Death. It's also called the Animal Graveyard, a region where humans are forbidden to tread. In Russian, Kamchatka means extremely remote place. After World War II, the Soviet government designated it as a military exclusion zone. The terrain of this Valley of Death is very rugged, with strange rock formations. It's surrounded by mountains on 3 sides, with only one side open to the outside. The valley is filled with countless animal carcasses. The bones of brown bears and wild boars are scattered everywhere in the valley. The entire Valley of Death is filled with death and desolation. As terrifying as hell itself, the valley is crisscrossed with deep ravines, strewn with jagged rocks, and deep pits can be seen everywhere. Apart from some moss on the slopes, the rest of the area is practically barren. After the Valley of Death became known to the world, it attracted many adventurers to explore it. It is said that dozens of people have already perished here. Scientists, in an effort to uncover the truth, have conducted multiple expeditions, but have found nothing conclusive. In the end, they could only speculate that the main culprit behind the deaths could be the large amount of exposed sulfur deposits at the bottom of the valley, which emit toxic gases like hydrogen sulfide. However, this theory doesn't completely hold up, because the concentration of this gas in the Valley of Death is not high enough to cause rapid death. It would only cause animals to slowly poison and suffocate. To this day, the Valley of Death on Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula is still a place that many people avoid, and some even find it terrifying. According to a forest ranger in the mountains, he once witnessed a large bear rushing into a secret chamber in the valley. Unexpectedly, not long after it entered, it suddenly collapsed and died. However, there is a village near this Valley of Death, and the villagers live there just fine. But if a person accidentally steps into the death trap, they will meet the same unfortunate fate. But according to some local civilians, when a strong northeasterly wind blows, the hydrogen sulfide in the Valley of Death gets diluted a bit. Perhaps at this time is the best opportunity to enter the Valley of Death and find out the truth. Number 5. Bikini Atoll. Bikini swimsuits may be sexy, but Bikini Atoll is terrifying. It's even been called the Gates of Hell. This atoll is located in the central Pacific Ocean, north of the Marshall Islands. It consists of 36 coral islands. Although its land area is only about 5 square kilometers, in the middle of the atoll there is a lagoon of over 500 square kilometers. It looks very beautiful. However, It has now become a famous forbidden zone for humans. This is entirely a man-made disaster. Historically, Bikini Atoll was controlled by Japan. After World War II, the United States took it over. Afterward, the US conducted 67 nuclear tests in the Marshall Islands, 21 of which were carried out at Bikini Atoll. Radioactive contaminants, carried by rainwater, seeped into every inch of soil here. A French designer used bikini to name the swimsuit he designed, hoping his product would be as explosive as a nuclear bomb on the market. However, the Marshallese people on the island endured a nightmarish existence. Countless radioactive dust particles caused radiation that pierced people's bodies like bullets, destroying the structure of their cells and DNA. The Americans showed no regard for the island's inhabitants. They even used the effects of radiation on the people to conduct detailed human data research. To this day, the nuclear contamination in the Marshall Islands has still not been completely eliminated. Compared to Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan, the nuclear radiation pollution suffered by Bikini Atoll had a more severe and lasting impact. Experts estimate it will take at least another 150 years for the nuclear radiation here to decay to an acceptable level for humans. Number 4. Gruinard Island. Off the west coast of Scotland, there is a small oval-shaped island called Gruinard. It has charming scenery, but due to a biological warfare crisis, it became the most dangerous island in Europe. To this day, the curse remains. During World War II, the British military, in order to counter Germany, implemented a biological weapons program called Operation Vegetarian, and Gruinard Island was the testing ground for this weapon. The British first brought 80 sheep to the island and then detonated a bomb that released a giant cloud of anthrax bacilli. Within days, all the sheep were killed. All the other animals on the island also died. The experiment was highly effective. However, when the British experimenters prepared to retrieve the sheep carcasses and decontaminate the area and return the small island to its owner, something terrifying happened. The experimenters who collected the sheep carcasses also died one after another. The British researchers conducting the tests quickly realized the severity of the situation. They sealed off the island and even removed it from some maps. Mature anthrax bacilli are not very powerful, but the spores they produce are extremely resilient. Many chemical disinfectants are ineffective against them. Just 1 gram of anthrax powder contains about 1 trillion spores, and 50 kilograms of anthrax powder is enough to destroy a city of 500,000 people. Humans and animals. Wildlife none would be spared. Its destructive potential is no less than a hydrogen bomb. However, facing the pressures of war, the operation was imminent. 5 million anthrax-laced cattle cakes and modified bombers were ready to go, just waiting for Prime Minister Churchill's order. Unexpectedly, Churchill's decision shocked everyone. He deeply understood that terrifying biological weapons were not playthings that humans could control at will. Once anthrax ravaged Germany and took root, it could eventually paralyze all of Europe. Therefore, Churchill canceled the operation. It can be said that he made a critically important and correct decision. Otherwise, Europe would have ceased to exist for centuries to come. However, the resilient anthrax spores had already become a demon on Gruinard Island, present everywhere, suspended in the air, seeping into the soil, and even flowing into the groundwater. For decades after, No one dared to set foot on Gruinard Island. Number 3. The Graveyard of the Atlantic. This is a small island in the North Atlantic. It covers an area of 34 square kilometers. The entire island has a unique crescent shape. There are no natural rocks or trees on the island. It is composed entirely of sand. The island shape is molded by wind and waves, so it is constantly moving. According to observations, over the last 200 years, it has moved 20 kilometers to the east, averaging a movement of about 100 meters per year. The island is located near the important shipping route from Europe to the United States and Canada. But due to its unique shape, treacherous surrounding currents, and unpredictable thick fog, the island's environment is extremely dangerous. The island contains a large amount of magnetite, which may even cause magnetic field interference, leading countless ships to run aground here. The shallow waters around the island are about 2 to 4 meters deep. Once a ship enters the shallows, it faces the risk of being swallowed by the sand. Therefore, this place is called the Graveyard of the Atlantic. Since the 16th century, more than 500 ships have sunk near the Graveyard of the Atlantic, including ancient sailing ships and modern vessels, resulting in over 5,000 deaths. This image shows a compilation of major shipwreck incidents on the island between 1862 and 1946. The entire island is surrounded by shipwrecks with no safe spots. One of the most tragic incidents occurred on November 15, 1875. A French steamship carrying more than 500 passengers and crew hit a reef and sank. Only a few people survived. Over the past 2 centuries, European colonists made several attempts to settle on the island, but all ended in failure. By the early 20th century, they had planted over 8,000 trees on the island and allowed various domestic animals to breed freely. But basically none of them succeeded. However, the horses of unknown origin managed to survive on the island, becoming its permanent residence. Number 2. The Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle or the Graveyard of Mariners, is located in the Sargasso Sea in the North Atlantic. It covers an area of about 1.3 million square kilometers. It is formed by a line connecting the Bermuda Islands, Miami in the United States, and San Juan in Puerto Rico, creating 3 points. It forms a mysterious triangular shape. Since the 20th century, this sea area has seen many mysterious maritime incidents, becoming one of the most bizarre sea areas on Earth. In 1945, the U.S. Navy's Flight 19 attempted to pass through this area. Although they had a detailed flight plan, after several hours of flight, this group of planes mysteriously disappeared. Later, the search and rescue team sent after them also went missing. In 1948, a plane that took off from San Francisco, after entering the Bermuda Triangle, the pilot suddenly heard a strange song. After that, this plane also vanished without a trace. In the last 100 years, in this sea area, hundreds of planes and ships have mysteriously and inexplicably disappeared. The number of disappearances is so high that the world cannot believe they are all coincidences. This has made the Bermuda Triangle famous, and it has been called the Hell of the Lost. Scientists have offered various explanations for these disappearances, including natural causes, magnetic anomalies, parallel universes, and black holes. However, to this day, there is no conclusive evidence that is convincing. The disappearance of numerous ships and planes in this area has become a mystery discussed by countless people. The mysterious phenomena of the Bermuda Triangle may be related to its complex ocean, currents, and weather conditions. The area is affected by a tropical climate, often experiencing northeasterly trade winds and tropical hurricanes, forming giant waves up to 10 meters high. Furthermore, the appearance of waterspouts, can also pose a serious danger to navigation. These factors have caused many planes and ships to sink to the bottom of the sea, becoming tragic victims of disappearance. Although the scientific community is skeptical of the legends of the Bermuda Triangle, people are still fascinated by the mysterious forces of this sea area, full of curiosity. To this day, many ships dare not enter the Bermuda Triangle again. Stories and legends about this place are endless. The terrifyingly mysterious events have made the Bermuda Triangle a forbidden zone for humans that cannot be ignored. Number 1. The Javanese Death Cave, Indonesia. The island of Java in Indonesia is like the Garden of Eden that God gave to Adam and Eve, beautiful and fertile. However, on this land, there is an area that no living creature can enter. That is the infamous Indonesian Death Valley, the Javanese Death Cave. In the valley, there are 6 large caves. The openings are trumpet-shaped, and they are all giant traps. Anyone who mistakenly enters is in grave danger. Even at a distance of 6 to 7 meters from the cave entrance, it's hard to escape. Because when a person or animal passes by the cave entrance, they are dragged into the cave by a mysterious and powerful suction force, dragged into the cave, and instantly swallowed. Some curious people once conducted an experiment. However, they did not use a living subject. Instead, they chose a piece of meat, tied it with a rope, and placed it a few meters from the cave entrance. As a result, the piece of meat was immediately sucked in. In the end, they couldn't hold on, even with all their strength. Now this place is widely recognized as the Cave of Death. According to the locals, the caves are filled with piles of white bones. It's difficult to distinguish which are human bones and which are animal bones. The skeletal remains are terrifying to look at. However, the exact size and depth of the caves are unknown to anyone. The mysterious phenomena of the Javanese caves have attracted countless scientific teams from around the world to explore them, but without exception, all have ended in failure. The bizarre incidents they encountered were all quite similar. Either their equipment would malfunction for no reason, or team members would disappear without a trace. Some scientific workers have stated that the Javanese Death Cave itself has a powerful magnetic field. This magnetic field interferes with the normal operation of most equipment and can even cause some precision instruments to break down completely. Moreover, this magnetic field is limited to the vicinity of the large caves. As soon as you move slightly away from the cave or its entrance, this powerful magnetic field disappears. All of these phenomena make the Javanese Death Cave a dreaded forbidden place. It is also known as the Cave of Death by people, and is ranked first among the world's top 10 forbidden places. Alright, that's all for the world's most terrifying 10 forbidden zones for humans. I wonder what your thoughts are after watching this. Feel free to leave a comment and discuss. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to Amazing World Exploration. Your subscription is our motivation to keep updating. Thanks for watching. See you next time.